as we are now in autumn and very definitely working towards winter, a lot more of our herbaceous perennials are going to be dying off. Now, I have quite a lot of rhubarb crowns, and a lot of these are really well established. And what's happened, because they're so happy where they are between my hedge and my polytunnel, they've almost created a little bit of a microclimate. So I actually have one over here which has decided it still wants to go. Now, I'm not going to touch that one because it's not quite dormant. However, the other crowns I have in here are dormant, and actually they're getting pretty large. Now, that's not normally a problem, but actually I have one huge crown just here and another huge crown just here. And what happens is when they grow and they have the huge leaves on them, is they get crowded, and actually quite a lot of those leaves end up just moulding down and going rotten. So I do need to move some of these. Now, I actually have another rhubarb patch, which means I have about 26 crowns in total. That's more than enough for anybody. So I'm going to split some of these crowns, and I'm going to put the ones that I have actually dug up, and they're going to go to a community plot. Now, once I've done this and I've actually planted on the new crown that I've split, I'm not going to be able to harvest for at least 2 years, because the poor little rhubarbs are going to need to actually re-establish themselves. So how do we actually split the crowns? Now, obviously the first thing is making sure that they have gone dormant. There's no more growth on here, but what I can see at this time of year is I can actually see the little eyes and the crowns themselves. So what I need to do is I just need to get a spade, and I'm going to split the crown down the middle and then dig up the part that I'm going to take away and replace somewhere else. Now, because I have this really big crown here, I'm going to split half of this one and I'm going to split half of this one. And once I've done that, I'm going to then obviously plant it on, and then I need to look after these ones. Now, ideally you need to be mulching your rhubarb in the springtime, but they're going to be a little bit unhappy because I'm going to be splitting and dividing them. So I will need to mulch around these ones after I've done that. But just make sure that you don't actually mulch over the actual crowns themselves, because they do like to get some air. They do like that light, even though they are dormant, and you don't want to be actually rotting your rhubarb. So getting a spade and digging down, that's what I need to do next. So there we have it, a beautiful crown with some absolutely astonishing roots. And these now need to go in the ground. So what I've had to do is I have transplanted these rhubarbs into these no-dig beds, which were actually created about 5 or 6 months ago. And I'm really pleased to see that the mycelium network underneath is really well established and loads of worms in here. Now, obviously I have had to break some of that network by digging really deep, especially with those huge roots that I had on particularly one of these crowns. But by actually just using a hand tool rather than using a spade, I've just dug where I needed to dig so that I can then surround the crown, and actually it's going to enable that network to re-establish itself. So just making sure that I'm pushing the crown down so that I can actually get it really nicely established in this bed. And I've spaced out these crowns, so there are 4 in these 2 beds here, so that they're going to have lots of space to grow and develop, and hopefully not overcrowd like I had in the old rhubarb area. Although, given time, they'll probably grow again, in which case I'm going to have to start the whole process over and split these and share the love.